is Raina Moncrief. I am a CAB member for Pop and Play, and this is episode 3 of our segments on Let's Talk Sex with Pop and Play. This episode, we're going to be talking about debunking STI myths and information that we received when we were younger on STIs. Now I'm going to have the CAB introduce themselves.
Hello, my name is Charmaine Carter.
Hi, my name is Itzel.
Hi, everyone. My name is Yanava Hawkins.
We also have with us as a special guest, Dr.Uzoamaka Aniagba, and she's going to be debunking on the medical side.
Hi, everyone. My name is Aniagba. I am a second-year medical resident in New York City. I'm glad to be here.
So the question we asked our community on social media was, do you remember the misinformation you heard as a young person about STIs? So we all have information that we heard when we were younger, crazy stuff about STIs, and some of the responses we got were really wild. The first one is, if you pee right after sex, and it will flush all the STIs out. So has anyone ever heard that?
Probably so. See, it's you pee after sex. Well, it's good for girls to pee after sex because, it's you reduce UTIs and yeast infections. Like, that's why. Not the STI part, but the UTI part. That's what they got mixed up. Yeah.
Dr. Uza?
So the whole thing with that is, like, after like any type of like sexual intercourse, the reason why they tell ladies to like pee afterwards is because where the like vagina opening and where like your anus or your anal opening is so close together in terms of like anatomy. So after like any type of like sexual intercourse, you're supposed to pee after to kind of like to decrease the chance of any of the bacteria that's there entering into like your vaginal opening, and then like kind of decreasing the chance of getting UTIs.
Number 2, this one is really wild, so just prepare yourself. Earwax being put in the vagina will burn, and that's how you'll know that you have an STI or STD.
Who's auntie?
He said this.
Who's in the Q-tips?
Like, let me
Get a Q-tip.
Oh, that burn! I think I got one. Has anyone ever heard that?
I never.
As long as I should live, I've never heard that before in my life. That's crazy.
Charmaine,
Huh?
do you have any information that would possibly debunk this myth?
That is definitely false. A proper way to get STI screened is to actually go to a licensed medical, your doctor's office, go to like our Pop and Play that we have before COVID-19, go to a respected physician and get a STI screen. Don't use earwax to test if you have STIs. Dr. Uzo, did they teach that in med school?
Listen, if you try to take the bacteria, all the stuff that's in your ear, and you put it places that it doesn't belong, you're going to get some type of infection. It's going to burn because it doesn't belong there. But it has nothing to do with the fact that it's like a STI or whatever it is. You probably just gave yourself a urinary tract infection because whatever bacteria you waxed out with the Q-tip and smeared in whatever crevices is now flourishing in a new environment.
Only men can catch HIV if you're gay or inject drugs with needles.
That is false.
So has anyone ever heard that before?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
David, did you want to give any debunking on that?
Yeah, I think if people just simply educate themselves about HIV transmission and then also just review the stats about different demographics who are affected by HIV, people will understand that HIV doesn't discriminate when it comes down to different identities. I think a lot of people tend to focus on gay men having HIV just based off of like high transmission rates, just based off of a lot of different factors. But it really just comes down to educating ourselves and understanding that anybody can get HIV.
Um, you cannot get an STI from oral sex.
That is false.
I've heard that. Who's heard that?
I've heard that.
It's not true. Dr. Uza, would you like to give your medical opinion?
So that's not true. I feel like a lot of people say that to like kind of make themselves feel better. Like, oh, well, I didn't, there's no penetration. I just had oral sex. There's no way I can get an STI, but you can get herpes. Like, you have cold sores or like the general, oral herpes, and you do that, then you can pass on herpes to someone else, which is an STI. So that in and of itself, just knowing that fact already like debunks that myth.
So I know.
So those are all of the myths.
I do have one myth that like STIs that I do want to address. It's just because I don't have a symptom of a STI, that necessarily doesn't mean that I don't have an STI, and that to me is the biggest narrative that we have to debunk, because that's causing more harm than good, where we don't really address the no symptom is a symptom of STIs.
I agree with that as well. A lot of the STIs, chlamydia, gonorrhea, HIV, herpes, all those things are, like you said, they're like asymptomatic. You don't have any symptoms. And sometimes for like weeks to months before you actually have like that burning or the discharge or whatever that is. So that's why it's important to kind of take care of yourself and try to make sure you get checked up, see with your doctor or your healthcare professional to kind of test yourself to make sure that you're protecting yourself, because sometimes you find out too late and the damage is already done. So like if you have like gonorrhea and it's been in your body for such amount of time, by the time you figure it out, it could have affected your uterus, or it could have affected, in men, it could affect your urethra, could affect your ability to have kids, can lead to infertility, can lead to all these other things like down the line. But in the interim, like while you're here now, you don't feel anything, you don't have any of the symptoms.
That's a fact.
Yes, that's a fact.
Are there any other myths that we did not include?
It's not really like a myth per se. It's just like a general fun fact. Okay, I'll make it into a myth just for the sake of activity. An STI test is simply peeing in a cup. Myth. I think a lot of times people really need to understand that there are many different ways to get tested for a STI, and I think people need to know that one, if you're giving blood, ideally you're getting tested for like HIV or syphilis. If you're peeing in a cup, ideally you're getting tested for like gonorrhea or chlamydia. But where people don't get tested at is their throat and also like their rectal cavities. So wherever you are engaging in sex at, please either get swabbed there or even urinate, like a sample collected, just making sure that you're having every single thing checked out whenever you're getting tested. And when you are getting tested, make sure you actually your nurse, practitioner, whoever, what form of testing do you actually offer and what are you testing for in the first place?
Yes, David.
Thank you.
Yes.
I really enjoyed this. This is like important conversations, and I'm glad you guys are doing this, because I feel like a lot of shy away from it. Even me, like even in the medical profession, a lot of people kind of are a little scared to ask patients about certain things because they feel like they're prying, but if you don't know, you can't help. So the fact that you guys are helping and like bringing things to the forefront for people and putting it in a platform that's like accessible. So this was honestly like, from right here, I really appreciate this. This is really good. So shout out to you guys.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you, Pop and Play, and Dr. Uza for giving us your medical opinion and information. We appreciate it. And let's see what you guys have to say in these comments.